Ever wonder why your Seedance 2.0 results never quite match what you pictured? Turns out, regular prompts let Seedance make choices you never wanted. So I'm going to show you the exact JSON prompt workflow I use to get studio quality results every time, so your ideas finally look 10 times better, no matter what you throw at it. So let me break down what is actually happening when Seedance reads your prompt. When you write a regular prompt, you are basically handing the model one big block of text, and it has to figure out everything you did not say. Like, where should the camera sit? What should be in the front of the shot, and what sits further back? Should the action build up in different stages or happen all at once? The model makes all of those calls on its own, and those choices might not be anywhere close to what you actually had in mind. That is why JSON works differently. So what it does is give you separate fields, each controlling a specific part of the video. So the composition field is basically where you tell Seedance what goes in the foreground, what sits in the middle of the frame, and what stays in the back. The camera field is where you write out exactly what the camera should do. And the motion field is where you lay out the action step by step in the order it should happen. Style covers the look and the lighting, and environment covers the setting. And each one is its own separate instruction. So Seedance is not trying to figure out everything from one block of text anymore. And the good news is, you are not writing this structure yourself every time. What I'm doing here is using a prompt generator, which you can find at videoprompt.studio, to build the structure for me. Here, you just choose your model and what type of prompt you want to build. There are presets for cinematic shots, product videos, character scenes, B-roll, motion graphics, and stylized ideas. You write your idea the way you normally would, paste it into the generator, and it turns that rough idea into a full JSON prompt. Then you copy the prompt, open in Higgsfield, and begin creating. That's the whole process. It takes under a minute, and you get the same clean structure every time. By the way, if you want to follow along with the 3 demos that I'll be showing you, the link to Higgsfield is in the description below. The fastest way to see what JSON does is to run the same idea through a regular prompt and then through JSON and compare the results. That is exactly what the first demo is going to show you. And the difference in the frame alone will make everything click. The first demo is about scene composition. So what I am doing here inside Higgsfield is clicking the video tab and selecting Seedance 2.0. On the left side, you can see the upload media section. I click the plus icon and upload the face photo. Once it uploads, you want to wait for it to show eligible underneath the thumbnail. What this does is confirm that Seedance has processed the image and it is ready to use as a reference. Every image you add needs to show eligible before you generate. I set the duration to 12 seconds, aspect ratio to 16:9, and resolution to 1080p. I attach the face photo as a reference and paste it into the regular prompt first. And after pasting that prompt, I hit generate. And look at how the shot is composed. I'm just placed somewhere in the scene, wherever Seedance decided to put me. The frame feels compressed because nothing tells Seedance what should be in the front of the shot and what sits further back. Everything ends up on roughly the same plane. The staging doesn't make sense. The dinosaur appears in front of me, and when the scene cuts to a wider shot, it suddenly appears behind me. That is because the regular prompt described the whole thing as a single action, so Seedance treated it as one. Now I'm going back to our prompt generator. I choose Seedance for the model and cinematic for the prompt type. I paste in the plain text idea, and it turns that rough idea into a full JSON prompt. So let me walk you through what it built. The composition has 3 layers, with me on the bench in the foreground, the phone with the glowing screen in the midground, and the park trees and the winding path in the background. And Seedance is not deciding where anything goes anymore, because we already decided that. And look at the camera field. It gives the camera a specific path to follow. And the motion field, it breaks the T-Rex reveal into 3 separate stages. And Seedance knows the order because we wrote each stage out as its own step. I paste the JSON into Seedance with the same settings and the same face photo attached. Then I hit generate, and you can see what this did. I end up locked in the foreground on the bench, exactly where I should be. The phone sits in the midground and the light erupts off the screen. And the camera pushes in over my shoulder and then pulls back wide as the T-Rex builds up through the 3 stages. Like, you can actually see each stage land separately. Instead of the T-Rex just appearing all at once, it grows in steps. If you try this yourself and the frame still feels flat, go into the composition field and be more specific about each layer. The more specific each layer is, the more clearly Seedance separates them. The second demo is going to show you what happens to the camera when you start writing the camera path in. For this one, I'm in a cream linen suit, so we need a reference image of the linen suit. What I am doing here is clicking the image tab and selecting GPT Image 2. I set the quality to high, resolution to 4K, and aspect ratio to 16:9. Then I paste in this linen suit prompt. I hit generate generate, and as you can see, this looks exactly like what we need. A cream linen suit on a hanger with a clean gray backdrop. Now I go back to the video tab, select Seedance 2.0, and upload the linen suit image. We wait for it to show eligible. The face photo is already there from the first demo and already showing eligible. I set the same settings: 12 seconds duration, aspect ratio 16:9, and resolution 1080p. This time I attach both the face photo and the linen suit, and then I paste in this regular prompt first. Now I hit generate. The suit comes out looking exactly right. The whole sequence plays out, but watch what the camera does. It just picks one spot and stays there the entire time. And this is exactly the problem when you do not write the camera into the prompt. You described what happens in the scene, but you said nothing about what the camera does. So Seedance just picked a framing it thought was reasonable and stayed there. And for a fashion video, that is a big problem. I'm using the prompt generator again. For this one, I'm going with product. I paste in the linen hour idea, and it turns that plain text into a full JSON prompt. The JSON that comes back has the camera field with 2 beats written into it. The motion field breaks the whole sequence into 4 separate phases. So Seedance knows exactly what comes next at every point, because we already told it. Now I paste the JSON in with the same settings, and both references attached. Now when I click generate, you can see that the camera zooms out as I walk in, and then zooms towards me at the end, exactly like I wrote it. All 4 phases play out in order. And the whole thing just looks like a proper video shoot, not just someone moving around in front of a camera. If you try this and the camera is still doing its own thing, go into the camera field and be more specific. The more specific you are, the more closely Seedance follows it. The first demo was about the depth of the frame, and this one was about the camera path. Both already make a huge difference in the output, but the third demo is different from both. And there are 2 things a regular prompt almost always gets wrong when there is no person in the scene: the color and the order of the motion. And that is what we are looking at next. The third demo has no character and no face reference. This is a generation that starts from a single image and builds forward from there. The idea is simple: a flat sheet of white origami paper sitting on a wooden desk in sunlight, and it folds itself into a dragon and flies away. So what I am doing here is generating the starting image first. I click the image tab and select GPT Image 2 from the model selector, and set the quality to high, resolution to 4K, aspect ratio to 16:9. Now I paste in the starting frame prompt. I hit generate, and this looks exactly like what I wanted it to look like. That is our starting frame. Now I go to the video tab, select Seedance 2.0, and upload the origami image in the upload media section. This time, I click the image I uploaded and set it as start frame. This tells Seedance to treat the uploaded image as the actual first frame of the video. So everything in that image, the desk, the paper, the light from the window, all of it stays exactly as it is. And Seedance just continues the scene from there. Now I set the same duration as before and paste the regular prompt first. Now I click generate, and straight away, 2 things stand out. The dragon is blue, and we never told it what color the paper should be as it folds, so Seedance just picked blue on its own. And the second thing is the folding itself. The whole thing just happens in one moment. The paper changes and the dragon is already there. You cannot see it actually folding because the regular prompt describes what the end result looks like, not the steps to get there. And when there is no character in the scene, Seedance has even more decisions to make on its own. And the more decisions it makes, the further the result gets from what you actually wanted. I'm going back into the prompt generator for this. This time I'm choosing B-roll. I paste in the origami idea, and it turns the plain text into a structured JSON prompt. The JSON handles both problems. The props field says the paper from the starting frame folds itself into a white origami dragon, so the color white is now written as its own value. Seedance does not get to decide that anymore. Now I paste the JSON in with the same settings and the starting frame attached. You can see that the dragon is white this time, and the folding actually happens in stages before it stands up and takes off. You can see the corners go first, then the edges, then the whole shape rises up. Each fold is its own moment. If the color is still off in your own generation, go into the props field and write it out clearly as its own value. Do not just drop it somewhere in the description and hope Seedance figures it out. And if the stages are blending together, go into the motion field and write each one as its own separate action. So that is what JSON is actually doing across all 3 of those demos. But there's one more thing this system does, and honestly, it's the main reason people who start using JSON never go back to regular prompts. And here is something you will notice the more you use it. When a regular prompt comes back wrong, you rewrite the whole thing and generate again. You have no way to know exactly what caused the problem because everything is in one block. And if the next generation fixes one thing but breaks another, you are starting over from scratch. With JSON, you do not have to do that because every field is its own control. If the camera is wrong, you just go into the camera field, fix it, and generate again. Everything else stays exactly as it was. If the character position is off, you go into the character field and fix that. And if the color or the lighting is not right, you go into the style field and update it. You are only touching the one thing that needs fixing, and everything else stays locked in place. That alone saves a lot of time. Once a JSON prompt works well for a specific shot, you save it. Like the composition setup from the first demo works for any scene where you need depth and a staged reveal. The camera setup from the second demo works for any fashion or editorial shot. You just drop in the new idea, update the details, and the whole structure carries over. You are not starting from scratch every time. The more you use JSON, the faster the whole thing gets. You are not figuring out what to include every time, but adjusting something that already worked. You can also use the same prompt bot I used. Find it at videoprompt.studio. Just drop in your raw idea, and it will turn it into a structured JSON prompt. Once it's ready, there's a button that you can use to open it straight into Higgsfield. The link to Higgsfield is in the description below. Run one rough idea through the prompt generator, paste the JSON into Seedance, and you'll instantly have a cleaner prompt you can test, tweak, and reuse instead of starting from scratch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.